Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 favorite albums. Generally, this isn't going to be like the top best albums of all time. There's just 5 that I absolutely adore. And we're going to go ahead and just label all these albums as either metal or rock albums, hard rock albums. And there's a prog album on this list. But today's list, and this is going to be part one of probably a multiple uh, videos because there are a lot more than just 5 studio albums that I absolutely love. But today, I thought I would talk about. Hang on, let me get something to drink real quick. Today, I thought I would talk about 5 albums. So it's going to be top 5 studio albums, Volume 1. Starting off with number 5 is going to be. I got the list right in front of me. Judas Priest, Stained Class. This was released in 1978. It was, in my opinion, the best Judas Priest album. One of the best. I like a lot of their albums, especially their early albums. And this album is full of really good songs, starting with Exciter, White Heat Red Hot. My favorite on the album, one of my favorites on the album is Better by Me, Better Than You, which is actually a Spooky Tooth cover. Stained Class, title track. Invader. I think if I had to, well, actually, I'll talk about that here in a second when we get to it. Savage is a decent song. Beyond the Realms of Death is a great song. Hero's End and Fire Burns Below. If I remember correctly, I think the Fire Burns Below is actually kind of a weak track, but everything else on this album is solid. Okay, so that's number 5. Number 4 for me is going to be Deep Purple in Rock, which, believe it or not, I just heard this for the first time probably not even a month ago, and it's making my top 5 because it's just that good. I don't know where this album has been the entire time I've been listening to music my whole life, but I decided to listen to it a few weeks ago, and it is one of the greatest metal albums I think I have ever heard. And I understand now why Deep Purple are listed right with Black Sabbath and some of those other bands as being the pioneers of metal, because they for sure are. So yeah, we got Speed King, awesome opening track. Bloodsucker, great song. Gillan's screams are just phenomenal. Child in Time, Flight of the Rat, really good song too. Into the Fire, Living Wreck, Hard Loving Man, great album. Solid. Okay, so number 3 is going to be kind of a pick that I don't think a lot of people would pick because I don't know if it fits with the the first 2 I picked. It's going to be something a little bit more modern, and that is Bullet for My Valentine's, The Poison, 2006. This was their first album, and it is a solid album. I think I love every song on this album, absolutely. Listened to it for years. Bullet's one of my favorite bands of all time, especially one of my favorite modern bands of all time. So we got the intro, which was actually featuring Apocalyptica. Really good song, really good intro. I like it. It's almost creepy sounding the way they do it. And track 2 is Her Voice Resides. Then we got four words to choke up on. Tears Don't Fall, which honestly I could kind of I kind of don't need to hear it anymore, but I still think it's a pretty good song. Hit the Floor, it's a great song. All the things I hate revolve around you or me. Room 409, The Poison, 10 Years Today, Cries in Vain, Spit You Out, in the end. And the end is might be my second or third favorite on this album. The Poison's a great song. 10 Years Today, yeah, really solid album. Check it out. Number 2 is going to be Dream Theater, Images and Words, 91. I love prog, absolutely do. But I don't listen to enough of it. And Dream Theater, every time I listen to them, I feel like I've entered another world. just the way that they always sense to amaze me. So track 1 is gonna be Pull Me Under, Another Day, Take the Time. I think Metropolis Part 1, the Miracle and the Sleeper, is the greatest song in this album, and probably the best Dream Theater song out there, in my opinion. Under a Glass Moon, good song. Wait for Sleep, and Learning to Live. Now, on this album, there are 2 songs that I'm not big on, and I do skip them when I listen to them. I don't hate the songs, I think they're kind of weak compared to the rest of the stuff on this album, which is awesome. And that is, I usually skip Surrounded and Wait for Sleep. It's 2 songs that on this great album that I actually don't listen to that often. Okay, now we've made it to number 1. If you're a metalhead and you have never listened to this album, I question if you're actually a fan of metal music. And that is going to be Black Sabbath's Paranoid, 1970. I got 3 albums on this list that were from the 70s. Remember, this is just going to be volume 1. I'm going to do more of these videos. I haven't talked about music yet, so I thought I needed to get on that train right away. Okay, so solid album. I first heard this probably about 5 years ago, maybe even longer than that. No, it was longer than that, I think, actually. And loved it from the start, loved it from the get-go. Great album. We got War Pigs, Paranoid, Planet Caravan, Iron Man, Electric Funeral, Head of Doom, Rat Salad, Fairies Wear Boots. I mean, just a fucking solid album from start to finish. If I had to say any of these tracks were bad, the closest I would even come to saying that there's a song in this album that I don't like is probably Electric Funeral, because it's a song that I don't listen to that often anymore. I think, I mean, I can't ask anybody, but this album is kind of overplayed, because it's old, and everybody's heard it a million times. I've heard it a million times. When I first heard this album, I listened to it every day, nonstop, for a long time. But yeah, that's it's gonna be my video for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know what kind of topics you want me to talk about in the next video. Bye bye.